Hello students, welcome to DIS online classes. Myself Deepak Bhatt and I am the science faculty DIS. In the previous class of electricity, we have studied about how we can move a charged particle between 2 points, and the essential quantity which is required to move a charged particle between 2 points was a potential difference or a difference of electrical pressure between 2 points. So if we are able to create a difference of potential between 2 points, we can immediately accelerate a charged particle between 2 points. We have also seen that if we increase the potential difference, the corresponding current also increases, and we always get a proportionality between the voltage and the current flowing, and that proportionality is eliminated by introduction of a constant R, and this constant is known as the resistance of the wire. The resistance itself is dependent on many factors. Resistance is dependent on length. It rises proportionally with length. Resistance is inversely proportional to the area of the wire. And by combining these two laws, we reach the result R proportional to L upon A, or R is equal to rho times L over A. And in the previous class, we have identified this constant rho is equal to the resistivity of the material. Resistivity itself is an intrinsic property. It is completely dependent on the material which we have chosen for the wire. अगर आप मटेरियल को चेंज करते जाते हैं तो रेजिस्टिविटी खुद को ट्यून करने लगती है, एंड दैट लॉ इज वैलिड विच इज नोन एज ओम्स लॉ. दैट लॉ इज वैलिड ओनली इन द डोमेन व्हेन द टेम्परेचर और एनी टाइप ऑफ फिजिकल कंडीशन रिमेन्स फिक्स्ड. अगर रेजिस्टेंस किसी भी मटेरियल का बदलना शुरू करता है, देन यू विल नेवर गेट अ स्ट्रेट लाइन ग्राफ between voltage and current. So in most cases or in practical cases, we can always define that there is a non-linear character of the voltage versus current graph, and such type of resistances can be identified as non-ohmic resistances. This was the overall scenario which we studied in the last class, and in today's class we will discuss how different type of resistances can be combined with each other, how resistances drop energy, and what are the commercial units of electrical energy and the heat dissipated across such type of resistances. And starting with a combination of resistances in which we are combining resistances in a series scenario. Say we have two resistances R1 and R2 and one more R3, and we want to combine these resistances in a series manner. Series का मतलब ये होता है that the current will have only one path for the movement of charges. जब इलेक्ट्रॉन्स के मूवमेंट के लिए, चार्जेस के मूवमेंट के लिए केवल एक ही फिजिकल पाथ अवेलेबल हो, तो ऐसे रेजिस्टेंसेस के कॉम्बिनेशन को हम सीरीज कॉम्बिनेशन कहते हैं. सपोज दैट हमारे पास तीन रेजिस्टेंसेस हैं R1, R2 एंड R3. सिमिलरली सपोज दैट कि हमने इनके अक्रॉस एक बैटरी कनेक्ट करी, and that battery is providing a potential difference of V volts between the whole combination. इस potential difference की वजह से जो भी charges इन wires के अंदर हैं, they start accelerating. वो अपना motion शुरू कर देते हैं, और motion शुरू करते ही उनके अंदर kinetic energy आ जाती है. जब ये charges motion करते हुए इन resistances के across गुजरते हैं, then these resistances start dropping the energy associated with these charges. So it means that if at this particular point electron or charges have some specific energy, then they will have a lesser energy at this point, a further lesser energy at this point, and almost a zero energy at that particular point. The overall picture is, as soon as charge or electrons exit from one terminal of the battery, they start moving towards the resistance 1, and at a particular point A, which is the starting point of the combination, we have another point in between, that is B, another point that is C, and a final point that is D. It means that if we have the energy of charges at point A, at A is UA. Similarly, the energy of charges at point B is UB. The energy of charges at point C is UC, and the energy of charges at point D is UD. Then immediately we can reveal a simple result that as soon as charge moves from one point to another, suppose that it carries an energy of 100 joules, and the energy drops down to a particular value at point B, it further drops down, it decreases more at the point C, and then it decreases almost up to 0 at the point D. What does it means? It means that अगर आप A point पे एनर्जी कैलकुलेट करते हैं तो आपको चार्ज की एनर्जी मैक्सिमम मिलती है, B point पे जाते ही ये एनर्जी थोड़ा सा कम हो जाती है, इट मीन्स UA इज ग्रेटर देन UB. B के बाद चार्जेस के रास्ते में एक और रेजिस्टेंस आता है जो कि फर्दर एनर्जी ड्रॉप करता है, एंड अगेन यू विल गेट अ डिक्रीजिंग एनर्जी UC, एंड एट द लास्ट द मिनिमम विल बी एट UD. इट मीन्स दैट अगर किसी भी दिए हुए चार्ज के पास यहां पर एक पर्टिकुलर पोटेंशियल है तो B पॉइंट पे जाने में पोटेंशियल थोड़ा कम होगा, फर्दर ड्रॉप्स एंड फर्दर इट पोटेंशियल ड्रॉप्स. सो द ओवरऑल रिजल्ट इज every resistance is directly or indirectly decreasing the potential difference across the 2 points. It means that if a charge is carrying a particular potential at point A, the potential will decrease at point B, it will further decrease at point C, and at point D it will become almost 0. So, but we can see that the amount of charge flowing through this resistance is same as the charge flowing through this resistance, and again same as the charge flowing through this resistance. It means that current only has one path to move. That's why all of the charges, all of the electrons are compelled to move through this path, and this is something which makes series combination a completely different type of combination in which the charge flowing in each resistance is exactly same, but the energy which is dissipated by every resistance is different. So say that the energy or the potential dropped by resistance 1 is V1, and the potential dropped by resistance V2, resistance R2 is V2, and the potential dropped by resistance R3 is V3. So we can immediately draw a consequence that the current flowing in each resistance is same because there is only one path available for the motion of electrons, and we can write the total potential difference as the sum of these 3 potential differences. And by Ohm's law, as the current in each resistance is same, we can write V1 is equal to IR1, V3 is equal to IR3, and V2 is equal to IR2. And by taking I common and transferring it to the denominator of the left hand side, we get R1 plus R2 plus R3, and it means that this V upon I is representing the overall effect of these 3 resistances. ये V upon I बता रहा है कि इन तीनों रेजिस्टेंस को अगर हटा दिया जाए और इन तीनों रेजिस्टेंस की जगह हम केवल एक सिंगल रेजिस्टेंस लगा दें तो वो ओवरऑल कितना हिंड्रेंस ऑफर करेगा या ओवरऑल कितना रेजिस्टेंस प्रोड्यूस करेगा. सो V अपॉन I कैन बी रिटन एज द ओवरऑल इफेक्ट ऑफ दीज 3 रेजिस्टेंसेस, एंड वी राइट इट एज R equivalent, the equivalent resistance of the combination, and it is written as R1 plus R2 plus R3. And this gives us a formula of total resistance of A series combination will have only one path for the flow of current. That's why there is no distribution of current. करंट का किसी भी तरीके का कोई डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सीरीज कॉम्बिनेशन में नहीं होता, लेकिन डिपेंडिंग ऑन द वैल्यू ऑफ रेजिस्टेंस, हर एक रेजिस्टेंस की वैल्यू के अकॉर्डिंग जो पोटेंशियल वो रेजिस्टेंस खर्च कर रहा है उसका अमाउंट अलग अलग हो सकता है. अगर किसी रेजिस्टेंस की न्यूमेरिकल वैल्यू ज्यादा है तो V इक्वल टू आई आर ओम्स लॉ के अकॉर्डिंग वो ज्यादा एनर्जी ड्रॉप करता है तो उसका पोटेंशियल ड्रॉप इज लार्जर. ऐसा रेजिस्टेंस जिसकी वैल्यू कम होती है according to Ohm's law V equal to IR, it will drop a lesser energy. So V1, V2, V3, and if there are more resistances available, these potential differences vary according to the value of the resistance itself. So in series combination we have to remember two important facts. That the first important fact is current has only one path. Current has only one path for movement, so there is no distribution of current, and the potential is distributed. Potential difference across different resistances is dependent on the value of resistance. और जैसे जैसे आप रेजिस्टेंस की वैल्यू को बदलते जाएंगे वैसे वैसे जो पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस आपको रेजिस्टेंस के अक्रॉस मिल रहा है वो बदलता जाएगा. किसी भी तरीके के सीरीज कॉम्बिनेशन को आइडेंटिफाई करने का एक शॉर्ट तरीका है कि अगर कोई भी रेजिस्टेंसेस का कॉम्बिनेशन अगर एक सीरीज कॉम्बिनेशन है तो करंट के फ्लो करने के लिए केवल एक पाथ अवेलेबल होगा. देयर विल बी नो जंक्शंस इन द सर्किट. किसी भी तरीके का कोई जंक्शन जहां से करंट डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो सके वो आपको देखने को नहीं मिलेगा किसी भी सीरीज कॉम्बिनेशन में. दैट इज अ शॉर्ट वे ऑफ आइडेंटिफाइंग दैट आइदर द कॉम्बिनेशन इज सीरीज और पैरेलल और एनी टाइप ऑफ मिक्स्ड कॉम्बिनेशन. और इस तरीके से सीरीज कॉम्बिनेशन का टोटल रेजिस्टेंस हमारे पास जो प्रीवियस फॉर्मूला हमने डिराइव किया था R इक्विवेलेंट इज इक्वल टू R1 प्लस R2 प्लस R3, एंड ऑब्वियसली इफ देयर आर मोर रेजिस्टेंसेस यू विल हैव इन एडिशन मोर टर्म्स. और इस तरीके से कोई भी सीरीज कॉम्बिनेशन किसी सर्किट के ओवरऑल रेजिस्टेंस को बढ़ाने का काम करता है, बिकॉज रेजिस्टेंसेस इन अ सीरीज कॉम्बिनेशन विल हैव एडिटिव नेचर. और इसी तरीके से एक और कॉम्बिनेशन जहां पर सारे रेजिस्टेंसेस एक दिए हुए कॉमन पॉइंट से स्टार्ट होते हैं और एक कॉमन पॉइंट पे टर्मिनेट या खत्म हो जाते हैं, उस कॉम्बिनेशन को हम पैरेलल कॉम्बिनेशन कहते हैं. पैरेलल कॉम्बिनेशन में सभी रेजिस्टेंसेस के अक्रॉस पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस तो सेम बना हुआ रहता है, लेकिन करंट को फ्लो करने के लिए मल्टीपल पाथ्स अवेलेबल होते हैं. That's why the current in each resistance is different from each other. For a parallel combination, we have something like this. एक पैरेलल कॉम्बिनेशन में सभी रेजिस्टेंसेस किसी एक दिए हुए कॉमन पॉइंट A से शुरू होते हैं. This is the starting point of first resistance, a second resistance and a third resistance. और इन सभी रेजिस्टेंसेस को एक बैटरी के अक्रॉस हम कनेक्ट कर देते हैं विद अ पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस ऑफ V वोल्ट्स. क्योंकि सारे रेजिस्टेंसेस दो यूनिक पॉइंट्स के बीच में कनेक्टेड रहते हैं, इट मींस दैट कि सभी रेजिस्टेंसेस के अक्रॉस एक ही पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस की वैल्यू होगी. दैट इज अ वेरी सिंपल आर्ग्यूमेंट. देयर इज अ वेरी सिंपल आर्ग्यूमेंट बिहाइंड दिस. A and B are two unique points, and for two unique points you will have only one single value of potential difference between the 2 points. This thing A और B दो यूनिक पॉइंट्स हैं और दो पॉइंट्स के बीच में पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस की केवल एक फिक्स वैल्यू हो सकती है. द वैल्यू इज V. बट जैसे ही करंट इस टर्मिनल पे पहुंचता है, इस जंक्शन पे पहुंचता है, the electrons see 3 paths for movement. They can either go through R1, they can go through R2, they can go through R3. there is a fundamental foundation on the motion of electrons, which is that जितने इलेक्ट्रॉन बैटरी के एक टर्मिनल से एग्जिट करते हैं, all of those electrons reach the next terminal or the negative terminal, or in other words we can say that the amount of current which is exiting from the positive terminal in default will be same as the amount of current entering in the negative terminal. So जब electrons इस particular point A तक पहुंचते हैं, then they will see three paths for the movement of charges. Electrons can go through this path, electrons can also go through this path, and electrons can also go through this path. How many of electrons will go through R1, R2 or R3 will depend on the hindrance offered by that path. R1 resistance जितना ज़्यादा hindrance या जितनी ज़्यादा रुकावट चार्जेस को मूव करने में प्रोड्यूस करता है, उतना ही कम चार्ज इसके अक्रॉस फ्लो हो पाएगा. जिस रेजिस्टेंस की न्यूमेरिकल वैल्यू कम है, उससे फ्लो होने वाले चार्ज का अमाउंट बढ़ता है. सपोज दैट करंट I1 is flowing through R1, current I2 is flowing through R2, and current I3 is flowing through R3. So this current I immediately gets distributed into three parts because there are three paths, so that they can travel up to the junction B, and at the junction B again these three currents combine with each other and we again get the current I. So it means fundamentally series and parallel combination are independent from each other, or they are different from each other in the way that in a series combination you will have a distribution of potentials, while in a parallel combination you will have a distribution of currents. So you can write the total current of the system as I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3, and by Ohm's law we can write I1 is equal to V over R1 plus V over R2 plus V over R3. So taking V numerator, the numerator V which is common, it can be transferred to the denominator of the left hand side, and we can always write I over V is equal to 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2 plus 1 over R3. I upon V itself is a quantity which will have a unit of inverse of the resistance. I upon V is something like 1 upon R. So we can also write that I over V can be written as 1 upon R equivalent, and again the equivalent resistance is representing the overall effect of these three resistances in the system. So 1 upon R equivalent can be written as 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2 plus 1 over R3. So similarly to the series combination, there is a short way of identifying that either a combination is parallel or not. So we can see that at that particular junction we will have a distribution of current in three different directions or three different resistances, and it immediately makes, or it immediately invokes the result that this combination is parallel. A parallel combination will be always identified by a distribution of current in different branches or different resistances. So this formula is giving us the total resistance offered by a parallel combination of different resistances. So two main properties or two major properties of a parallel combination can be identified as, the first property is parallel combinations have distribution of currents. किसी भी तरीके के पैरेलल कॉम्बिनेशन में करंट हमेशा एक जंक्शन से डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होती है, एंड एट द अदर जंक्शन इट गेट्स कंबाइंड अगेन. डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ करंट्स. एंड द सेकेंड इंपॉर्टेंट कैरेक्टरिस्टिक इज, जितने भी रेजिस्टेंसेस आप ए और बी पॉइंट्स के बीच में पैरेलल कनेक्ट करते हैं, द पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस अक्रॉस एवरी रेजिस्टेंस इज सेम बिकॉज दे आर कनेक्टेड अक्रॉस द सेम पॉइंट्स, and between two unique points you will have only one value of potential difference. So we can write that the potential difference across every resistance is same. The potential difference सभी के अक्रॉस आपको सेम मिलेगा, और ये पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस इस बात पे डिपेंड नहीं करेगा कि कितने रेजिस्टेंसेज आपने कंबाइन किए हैं इस कॉम्बिनेशन में, कितने भी रेजिस्टेंसेज आप इसके अक्रॉस लगाइए, यू विल ऑलवेज गेट द सेम पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस V across every resistance. Although the amount of resistances will obviously affect the current which is flowing in the circuit. So the potential difference across every resistance is same, and it is completely independent from the number of resistances. So from this combination we will always get a same potential difference across every resistance, but we will always get a different current in every resistance. If two resistances in a combination are same, it means that the amount of current flowing in these resistances will be same. So the current which is flowing in a resistance is decided by how much resistance is offered by that particular device. In other words, we can also write, as we know that I can be written as V over R, and in a parallel combination V is same, or we can also regard V as a constant. So eliminating V and this equal sign, we can also write I proportional to 1 over R. It means that in a parallel combination, if the resistance is higher, the current flowing in that resistance will drop. If the resistance is lowered, or if the value of resistance is small, then the amount of current flowing in the resistance will be higher. And this is a direct result from the parallel combination. So larger the value of resistance, smaller will be the amount of current flowing in that resistance. And with this topic we will move to the concept of electrical energy which is flowing in a circuit due to the motion of charged particles. As we know that on applying a potential difference, charges start moving from one point to another. If charge is moving from a point A to point B and Q is its amount, we know at this particular point, let the energy of charges at point BA, charges be 0. It means when the charges start motion at point A, the overall energy of charges is 0. But as soon as you move a charge particle from A to B, there is some work done. And that work which is done in moving the charge particle from A to B, what does it do? It increases the energy. So it means the work done according to work energy theorem can be written as UA minus UB. This thing is change in energy. So in every case, we can see that if you are doing some work on a charge particle, you are providing it some energy, and that energy is dissipated by the resistance which come in the path of the charge particle. तो जो रेजिस्टेंसेस किसी चार्ज पार्टिकल के रास्ते में आते रहते हैं, वो सब इसकी काइनेटिक एनर्जी को खर्च करना शुरू कर देते हैं, और खर्च करने का मतलब है किसी तरीके का एनर्जी लॉस या पावर डिसिपेशन जिसे हम कहते हैं. सो this power dissipation can be calculated by some very simple formulas. As you know that work done is equal to change in energy, so we can always write the work done is equal to V upon Q. The work done can always be written as a product of V and Q, so we can write V into Q, and the current can be written as V over R, or it can also be written as the charge flowing divided by the time taken. From this expression we can calculate the value of charge flowing as the current multiplied by the time, and on substituting this relation into the above one, we will get the work done on the charge particle as current V into I into T, and this work is stored as energy with the moving charge. So we can write the expression of electrical energy E is equal to voltage into current into time for which the current flows. And by Ohm's law we can always substitute V is equal to IR. So this relation comes out to be I square RT, which is an equivalent relation to VIT. And similarly, by substituting current is equal to, by substituting a simple concept of I equal to V upon R, we can get another formula for energy as V square over R into T. And this is something which gives us the electrical energy which is produced or which is associated with a moving charge particle, or this can also be regarded as the energy associated with the electrical current. Always remember, in electricity, what is more important in comparison to the electric current is the potential difference or the electrical energy, because all the devices which we are using in our daily life or every type of resistance is not using any type of charges. It is using the kinetic energy associated with these charges. And with these three formulas of electrical energy, we can write electrical energy equal to the product of voltage, current and time. We can also write the electrical energy as the square of the current and a product of resistance and time. And we can also write in an equivalent way the electrical energy is equal to V square over R into T. And this is something which gives us three important formulas for electrical energy. It will depend which type of formula you will use. It will depend on the situations. If the question is provided with voltage, current and time, then use the formula first. If the question is provided with current and resistance, then use the formula 2. If there is no current provided, then you can use the formula 3, that is E equal to V square over R into T. So this is the energy which is associated with the moving charges, and this is the same energy which is used by resistances or which is used by the devices and gets converted to different forms. Like a light bulb is converting this type of energy, this electrical energy or this type of kinetic energy of charges into light energy and heat energy. Similarly, a fan is converting this type of energy into mechanical energy. A press, an electrical iron, a heater, a geyser is converting this energy into heat energy. So, and similarly a speaker is converting electrical energy into sound energy, and so on. There are various types of applications, but fundamentally the energy is associated with the motion of charges, and as you know, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can be converted from one form to another. So every device which works with electricity is actually converting this electrical energy or the energy of moving charges into some other type of energy. So there will be different types of units associated with this electrical energy, and before we discuss the units, we will move to a new concept of electrical power. So as you know that power is defined by the work done per unit time or the rate at which we do work. So we can also define electrical power as the work done divided by the time taken, and equivalently we know that the work done can be written as the energy provided to the charges divided by the time taken. So you can always write P is equal to VIT over T. Equivalently, it can also be written as I square RT over T. And similarly, it can also be written as V square over R into T multiplied by T. And if you simplify all these expressions, the time dependence of each expression cancels out. There will be no time factor because it occurs in both numerator and denominator, and we will get P is equal to V into I. The unit is watts. and similarly we can also write it as I square R, and equivalently it can also be written as V square over R. What is the SI unit or the MKS unit of measuring electrical power? There are other units also which represents higher or lower amounts of power, and some fundamental or some basic units associated with the measurement of power are 1 megawatts is equal to 10 raised to the power 6 watts, 1 horsepower is equal to 746 watts, and 1 kilowatts is equal to 10 raised to the power 3 watts, 1 gigawatts, that thing is equal to 10 raised to the power 9 watts. So these are the different units of electricity, but in our household electrical supplies we use a different type of unit of consumption of electrical energy, and that unit is basically called 1 unit or 1 kilowatt hour. So the commercial unit of electricity is something at which we measure electricity in our households, in commercial sectors, in industries. We measure electrical energy in form of kilowatt hours. So the commercial unit is 1 unit electrical energy. 1 unit electrical energy is defined as, if you are operating an instrument of 1000 watts for 1 hour, then the energy dissipated can be written as 1 unit or 1 kilowatt hour, and this energy can be written in MKS units as 1 kilowatt will represent 1000 watts multiplied by a time period of 1 hour, and 1 hour can be converted into seconds as 3600 seconds, and we get, by absorbing these zeros into the powers of 10, we can also write it as 36 multiplied by 10 raised to the power 5 joules, or 3.6 into 10 raised to the power 6 joules. That is the commercial unit of energy. So the electricity bill which comes in our house is based on the measurement of electricity in terms of units. How many units you dissipate, that will decide how much electricity bill you have to pay. If the amount of units dissipated is larger, then you will have to pay a larger amount of bill, and 1 unit electricity will have some specific amount of cost or some specific cost associated with it. It is usually between 4 to 10 rupees in most of the cities. So this thing, in an overall view, gives us the scenario how electricity is important in our life, how electricity moves, how charges do their motion from one point to another. So in these 2 classes we have learned that in order to accelerate a charge particle, in order to move a charge particle between 2 points, you fundamentally need a potential difference. When you apply a potential difference, there is some work done on the charge particles, and that work increases the energy of the particles. So it means that if we increase the amount of potential difference, we will have a higher amount of current flowing. If we decrease the amount of potential difference, we will have a decreasing amount of current flowing. So we can construct a proportionality between voltage and current. Higher the voltage, higher will be the current. Lower the voltage, lower will be the current. So in order to eliminate the proportionality, we have introduced a constant which is known as the resistance of the circuit, and the resistance itself is dependent on the length and area of the conductor. We have also combined the resistances in form of series and parallel combinations, and a series combination was identified by a single path of flow of electrons, while a parallel combination was identified as a as multiple paths for the flow of charges. Similarly, in a series combination, the current flowing in each resistance was same, but in a parallel combination, the current flowing in each resistance was different. However, the potential difference was same. So in a way, they act like they have a inverse dependence of voltage and current. In a series combination, you will have same current but different potential differences. In a parallel combination, you will have same potential difference but different currents. So with this topic, we have completed the first chapter of electricity. If you like the video, hit the like button, share and subscribe with your friends.